The Brian Boru Irish Pipe Band was one of the highlights of the first Northeast South Dakota Celtic Faire held Saturday. Organizers were hoping for at least 1,000 visitors to the Heritage Festival. Celtic people, or Celts, are people or descendants of those living across much of Central and Northwestern Europe. There were many displays of heritage in Clan Row at the Holm Expo building, among them the Bruce family, who state that no other name is more revered in Scotland than their own. One of the principal organizers of the Celtic Festival was Robin O'Neill.
Well, there are several of us here that have Scottish or Irish or other Celtic kind of heritage, and we're really lacking in this area for this kind of a festival, so we thought it would be really great to have one. And many of us have been to similar festivals in other places, like the Twin Cities. I grew up in Tulsa, they have one there. They're all over the place, but not really in this area, so we thought it would be fun to put one together.
One of the commercial displays was by Minneapolis author-illustrator Scotty Roberts, whose heritage is Scottish-Welsh. He has published a beautifully illustrated children's book called The Rollicking Adventures of Tam O'Hare. According to Roberts, it's a story he told his children when they were growing up, involving a Celtic rabbit in 16th century England.
The story is all about an Irish lord, Tam O'Hare, living in the 1560s during the tumultuous reigns of Mary Queen of Scots and the beginning of Elizabeth's reigns. And he's looking for a little girl who's been stolen by the fairy folk, and it's all the adventures he goes through.
The one-day event included outdoor events as well, men's and women's stone put heavyweight throws, and performances by dance groups and cloggers. Steve Kaiser reporting for AberdeenNews.com.
Are we playing Deliverance at a Celtic Fair? Well, this is an educational part, and the Celtic influence is seeped into the bluegrass of America. And it all began actually way before prehistorical times, whenever there was just one or two land continents. The Highlands of Scotland actually were part of the Appalachian Mountains, and as time went by, the continents separated, and those part of the Appalachians went into the Scottish Highlands and separated out that way. So it really is deeply rooted in Appalachians. As the country settled, more people came to the coast, settled by a lot of English, Scottish, Irish, but the immigrants couldn't afford the land at the coast, so they kind of immigrated into the Highlands. They were forced to the high country, they say, and that's where they kind of settled and carried on their own traditions. And a lot of the music they brought behind were leftovers from the old country. And in fact, in the 1800s, there was a man that came by, Cecil Sharp, and came by and studied the tunes of the Appalachians and found that a lot of the tunes were similar to the Irish and Scottish tunes 200 years prior. So those tunes had hung around and maybe got different names. In fact, if you listen to the song Down in the Valley, it is the very same tune as the Connemara Cradle Song. so they brought along the tunes, they changed the words to fit their own thing. And the early American music, they modeled after the old country. And the girls are going to do a tune right now called St. Anne's Reel.